And welcome to the Dynasty Rewind Week 4 Waiver Wire Show. We have a very special guest this evening. Before we get to that, I want to say that tonight we're going to be talking about some notable transactions, some injuries, and of course the waiver additions that you need to get your league up to par. And that's starting now.
You are now listening to the Dynasty Rewind.
All right, and welcome back to the Dynasty Rewind, everybody. I'm your host, Michael Bauer. The best in the business is once again back in business. Thank you for tuning in on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Why watch the debate when you can watch this? It's so much better and so much more handsome. So I'd like to introduce myself again. I'm your host, Michael Bauer. And joining me, like always, we have Nate Christian. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing pretty good. I am upset that I actually had to drink tonight.
Well, don't worry. We're going to try to make that be a weekly thing. Also joining me, like always, we got Chev and Nooney. What's good, Chev?
Nothing much, boys. Definitely excited for this one. This is going to be a good one.
It's always a good one. And also, we have our very own Porkman. What's going on, Porkman?
Hey, I'm just happy to be here again.
I could tell. I could tell. Yeah, it sounds like I have to jump you down off a cliff right now. But we also have another Nate joining us tonight. We have Nate Markham. He's representing the crew over at Fantasy and Frames. He does a lot of IDP content over there. Make sure you check out Fantasy and Frames. They're doing everything right now. They have a weekly start and sit show. Why can I not say start and sit? They do start and sits on Wednesdays. They have another podcast on Thursday. I mean, all sorts of great stuff going on. Nate, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Well, after the excitement that Porkman showed, I don't know if I can, if the crowd can or the fans can handle anymore. But yeah, like you said, man, I've been with Fantasy and Frames for a bit now, and Jorge Edwards brought me on. It's been great. Obviously, if anybody follows us, they've seen you with us or heard you with us. I
apologize for that.
It's okay. Something's got to, we got to bring on those good looks to keep the viewership up. But yeah, like you said, I do some of the IDP content for us at Fantasy and Frames. We have our Wednesday night start and sit show and our Sunday morning last minute start show that unfortunately I gave some bad advice to Chev. He asked me about some Drew Sample. I thought Drew Sample would do something. He got just a sample. He got one taste, just a little bit to keep it going until next week when he gets maybe two or more. But you can also listen to Jorge and I at the Fantasy Playbook Pod on the fantasydata.com podcast network.
Okay. All right. Well, great, Nate. Thanks again for joining us. And I will say, been great getting to meet you, getting to meet Jorge. Unlike myself, Jorge is probably one of the most organized hosts that I've ever had the pleasure of coming across guesting on podcasts. So definitely go check them out. Subscribe, rate, and review everywhere that you can, YouTube, and whatever podcast player you happen to use. Make sure you get on that or else. And also, while you're here, buy a hoodie. Pre-sale is ending really soon. $35 shipped to the continental U.S. If you buy a t-shirt with it, I'll cut you some sort of discount. The best I can, depending on where you live. But before we get started, I want to talk to you guys about our friends over at Thrive Fantasy. We all play DFS, right? FanDuel, parlay bets, whatever your poison is. So you just go head on over to Thrive Fantasy. It's an awesome looking app. You come in hashtag or # prop up on Thrive Fantasy this season. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports app for player props. They have eliminated the need to do countless hours of research because they only ask you about top tier athletes in a respective sport. Choose 10 out of the 20 player prop options to build your lineup. So all you have to do is to get $20 matched to your $20 deposit. You head on over to thrivefantasy.com and use the promo code rewind20 when you sign up today, and you will receive an instant $20 bonus on your first deposit of $20 or more. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or Play Store or by visiting their website www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and # prop up today. So make sure you get on that. Tell them the Rewind crew sent you. Helps us out, helps you out. So let's talk about some notable transactions. Chev, we'll get this one out of the way first. I didn't watch the game. I know you said you were at church. The Bears have benched Mitchell Trubisky and named Nick Foles a starter. I'm glad they did because he stole 45 yards of rushing away from David Montgomery from me, which definitely hurt. But, Chev, I want you to touch on this one first.
Hey, here's the thing, man. I just hope it is not back and forth Trubisky and Big Dick Nick, man. I just hope it's one QB the rest of the season. But as long as we're winning, I don't care. I'll keep wearing my lucky orange Trubisky jersey if it keeps us winning. And it helped. I put it on right after church, and Nick Foles drives down the field and gets us a dub. So
maybe next week wear it to church.
Yeah, it's not gonna fly.
Why not? Well, just wear it like under your shirt or something like that.
Wait till you meet Melissa. Melissa will literally kill me, man. She's already a stickler of my swag, man, and it's not very good.
Right. So she keeps Chev in line, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this was kind of an odd one, and Nate, you could touch on this one too. Earl Thomas visited with the Texans, was expected to sign, and then he was sent home with no contract. I'm talking Nate Markham here. The Texans need every bit of help that they can get. I know we said we weren't going to talk about any IDP, but is this weird or is this weird?
I mean, take your pick. It's one of two things: underlying health issue that no one knows about, or the fact that no one likes him. And my guess is that it's probably he hasn't had a chance to ruin the locker room there yet, considering he only went in for an invitation. If he did, it's pretty impressive to have everybody hate you before you can even get into the locker room. But yeah, it's shocking just because I thought that he could bring something to a team, but I mean, maybe they're already given up.
I don't know. It was weird. I know he wanted to go to Dallas after he left Seattle. They didn't offer him a contract. He gets released by Baltimore, and Dallas still does not come knocking. So, is this the end for Earl Thomas? You guys think? Yes. Maybe.
I'm gonna say no.
You say no. The Jets could use a good safety.
The Jets can use everything.
They could use a lot. New coach would be great, I think.
Hey, we might get that Friday.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully before Thursday. I hate that guy, but he's terrible.
Here, I'll tell you what. My streaming option of the week: the Denver defense. I picked up the Indy defense last week. They got me 26 points in Yahoo. So. There you go. Another notable transaction: the Eagles have signed Hakeem Butler off of the Carolina Panthers practice squad. They had to sign him to the active roster. So he is actually designated as a tight end, and this will work right into some of our injury news. Dallas Goedert has a slight ankle fracture. They are very specific in saying it is a slight ankle fracture, but he is placed on short-term IR. So a guy that we are high on, Hakeem Butler, he has a chance to catch some passes. So it's pretty good. Yeah. Porkman, any thoughts on the Hakeem Butler sign? I like it. I think they should have gotten him the first time he was on waivers, but
yeah, I think they should have gotten him there too. I mean, if they don't ask him to block and just tell him to run routes, he's big and he has okay hands to get up and catch the ball. So he's just a short term until Goddard gets back. I'm a little worried about Goddard though, because they said it's a knee strain on top of his ankle. So we just got to wait and see until he gets back and see if he's running at full speed. If not, then Hakeem Butler, do your job, please. We need you.
Just
do something.
Anything.
Right?
Yeah. Anything.
Anything for that offense right now.
Anything. Yeah. I mean, our best wide receiver right now is Greg Ward. It's just but he's the only healthy one. Right. So, and apparently Nate Markham. I have to differentiate between the two Nates here.
No.
Did I tell you sent me that video about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside before the game on Sunday? Apparently he had some lower body discomfort, but he played through it.
Yeah, he played real good through it.
He didn't get any.
Yeah, he looked as good as Drew Sample.
Yeah, he was great.
Drew Sample was better.
So
he do better.
Chris Carson has a knee sprain, no tears, which is good news for Chris Carson owners. Does anybody know his availability for this week? I didn't hear any updates on that.
He's probably out. I think he said he's out 1 to 2 weeks. But Tristan Hill is a slime ball.
Yes,
no joke.
That was nuts. He should be really suspended for it, but he's probably only going to get fined because he's for the Cowboys.
And he had a targeting on Russell Wilson, like not right before it or right after that play. So hey, that's something to watch. I mean, if that guy's going to be dirty, somebody's going to get him. Somebody's going to get that guy karma, or somebody's going to blindside that dude really good. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Speaking of Cody.
Hi.
Cody sent me something today. He sent me a meme making fun of Mar Jackson and the Ravens, and came this close to blocking him.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you can go ahead and block him. That's fine. Chev, I'm not piling on here to you, man, but Bears
Hit me.
fear that running back Tariq Cohen has an ACL tear. Has that been confirmed or?
Yeah, he's done. He's out. But you know that could be good news for old Montgomery. This could be the time where he actually maybe get some pass catches in there now. He's probably going to be used more. I don't know if they're going to go sign anybody or pick up somebody just off the street. But I think David Montgomery will be better with Nick Foles too. So this could be watch Montgomery right here. See what he can do now.
Yeah, I've been high on Montgomery, so stock up. Raiders coach John Gruden is concerned about Henry Ruggs' hamstring injury. You should be long-term. I think we're going to be okay here, but short-term, obviously. 49ers placed tight end Jordan Reed on IR. It's short-term, but a knee sprain. I mean, is Kittle coming back this week? Does anyone know?
He's supposed
I
to
think
be.
so. I think they might push him back a week, but I mean, you're right, Pork. None of us really know.
Yeah, we don't know. And he likes to run. He likes to play through injury, so I would guess he's going to play.
Does anyone know who is left at tight end?
Ross
Dwelly.
Okay, so Ross Dwelly, stock
Charlie
up.
Warner.
Charlie Warner. This is great. See, we'll get to this stuff later. Another piece of IDP news. He's a guy I have in a couple spots. Broncos defensive tackle Jarrell Casey is out for the year with a bicep tear. Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. has compartment leg syndrome. I don't know what that is, and I'm not going to look it up because it sounds gross. He has that in his calf, which required surgery. He's expected back after their bye week. We're going to talk about some of his replacements then. I will anyway. Falcons wide receiver Russell Gage and Pittsburgh wide receiver Deontay Johnson both exited early with concussions. And I did see that Deontay Johnson is officially in the concussion protocol today, Nate. It's all right. It's going to be okay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin exited early with a hamstring injury and could miss multiple games, according to head coach Bruce Arians. Bills wide receiver John Brown exited their game early with a calf injury. And the kicker of the day, 3 Titans players and 5 staff personnel test positive for COVID. The Titans have closed facilities until Saturday. The Vikings have also closed their team facility. The league may reschedule Minnesota and Houston and Tennessee and Pittsburgh to Monday, although plans right now are to play as scheduled. So
no practice?
No.
So here's our worst case scenario. This is
Saturday.
what we didn't want.
Right.
Here we go.
They're talking about where they're going to maybe put Tennessee, Houston, Pittsburgh, and the Baltimore by their 7 and 8 week buys and switch that to maybe week 4 and throw them back. I mean, that's crazy, especially for this whole segment that we're doing tonight with this waiver wire. I mean, that adds a little added wrinkle. So can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I've been preaching it. We've all been preaching it. Waivers this year are way more important than ever. Is anybody here just putting in lineups that are so gross right now? Like you're just looking at your lineup and you're like, what?
There's one team I was blowing up, and somehow I'm 3-0 because I have so much depth and all the top guys got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing. Term always laughs on my team. He's like, "Yeah, your team is terrible." I was like, "Well, my record is better than yours." So
that's all that
matters. Frank Tomko, great listener of ours. Thanks for checking in, Frank. He said, heard they might move the Steelers and Titans to Monday night. I did hear that. The last update that I have, and I'm sure we all got the same update, is they're planning on trying to play everything normally. So we're gonna see. And Cody's saying waivers are useless. That is just making a reference to a league where we have some ongoing issues with some people. So
baby, I love that.
Those are some of our notable injuries. Do you guys have any other injuries that I might have missed here? Anything else? It's John Ross has hurt feelings. He was a healthy scratch on Sunday. I guess that could be an injury, right?
You didn't talk about Deshaun Jackson, but then again, I think that was pretty much already assumed that he was going to be hurt, right?
He was already on a snap count to begin with, so
they knew something.
Yeah, they did. I don't know. It is what it is. I didn't expect a whole lot from him this season anyway.
Well, when Jalen Hurts takes over in week 6, then
Here we go. You know, I can. There we go. I just muted him, so no, that is not going to happen. Nice try there, Nate. Thanks for coming. All right, so let's get to some waiver additions. I'll tell you what. Let's start. Nate, you are the guest. Let's start with you first. Who do you have? Anybody in particular that you're targeting?
We go in any specific position? No?
It can go off any of these injuries, any position that you want. Just a guy that
I mean, if I'm looking at like who can have an immediate impact with what's going on right now, I mean, Myles Gaskin is 46% owned right now, which is, I get it. In some leagues, he's probably already taken, but I mean, his snap share has been 40, 49, 46, which is like 13th in the NFL right now. He's getting third down work. I know maybe goal line with Jordan Howard, whoop-de-doo, but at the same time, that does have that has an effect. Obviously, that limits his ceiling a little bit, but they play Seattle this week. I realize Seattle on pass defense is crazy bad, but their run defense isn't as bad simply because you can't give up that many yards when you're giving up 1,200 in the air. So I don't see that as a great spot, but there's, no Jamal Adams. The defense is a little bit banged up, but I mean, I think he has to be owned at this point.
Yeah. And you said what, 46% owned?
46% owned.
46.
Right now.
So he's better than a lot of other options that you're going to plug in there. So perfect. Porkman, you got anybody for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Old Man River, Jimmy Graham. He just went full on Hamburglar this year for some reason. I don't really understand how he's doing it.
Good call, Porkman. I had him on my list as well.
Yeah, you did. He's yeah. So, now he has Nick Foles. He loves to target the tight end position. I can go with Jimmy Graham. I mean, Chev told us not to take him because he's too old to play, and he's running like the third most routes as tight end. So
it's crazy.
And actually targeting him, which is nuts, in the red zone. So give me some of that bald head Jimmy Graham.
So I mean,
all the competition there is just absolutely excelling his game, is what I'm hearing. And it's like Space Jam. He takes some of the powers from each player, and he's just evolved his game just a little bit over the time.
He took all the powers from all the tight ends that they had.
Yeah, and then he even took Trubisky's as well. So he's doing good things.
I mean, look at this. In week 3, on 10 targets, 6 catches for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Porkman, do you have his ownership percentages?
I do not.
ESPN
it's too low at this point.
ESPN 13.3 and Yahoo is 9%. So he is very, very much available out there.
Mm-hmm.
Chev, how about yourself?
Yeah, first off, I want to say T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson. Woo! Fire me up. I'm going to go with my boy Hunter Renfrow, though. He is beginning put into a situation where Henry Ruggs could possibly miss some time with his hamstring injury, and he has that connection with Carr as well. So that's some guy that I would like to go get if he's on your waivers. It could be an immediate impact if Henry Ruggs is out for a little bit. I would definitely like to have him, especially with Waller. Didn't do too much last week. And then Brian Edwards, I'm not sure really what's going on with that guy right now. So I'm definitely interested in Hunter Renfrow on the waiver wire. I'm not sure what his percentage is, but I would be looking for that guy, especially with all the injuries that are popping up.
Okay, perfect. Nate, how about yourself?
So Chev was talking about T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson, but he missed another rookie wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk.
Good one.
Brandon Ayuk did well with Mullins, and Debo's coming back, but even if he gets some snaps this week, which I'm not sure if he will or not, it won't be much.
I think I heard week 5.
Yeah. So for the next week or two, maybe a little bit farther than that, Ayuk is going to be the top target there, especially if Kittle remains out. Jordan Reed, we talked about, is injured now. It's really just him out there, and they have a really good matchup this week against a really bad team. The Philadelphia Eagles. So fire them up.
Pile it on.
Oh man, this comes from the person who got waxed last night. But okay.
I'm not worried about it.
All right. So a guy that I am targeting everywhere that I can is Zach Pascal, wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. So on the season, not much on the stat sheet. 7 catches, 71 yards, and 1 touchdown on 11 targets, but he should see more time. Both Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman Jr. out. Jack Doyle may or may not be back. I don't know. Percent ownership in ESPN, 0.9. Yahoo is 4%. He's out there. You're going to get him super cheap. I think he could be like a $0 bid guy. if your league allows $0 bids. How do you guys feel about $0 bids? You okay with that?
I love it. I'm fine
I'm,
with
fi-
it.
I'm fine with it, right? You're still making the bid,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah, I'm fine.
great. Let's go back to our guest for the evening.
I do want to say something about the Colts wide receivers,
Sure.
though. I was reading today that a lot of us, I think, thought that Paris Campbell was out for the year. They hadn't said it, but they said indefinitely. Then it started looking like not sure he was even going to play again this year. It was looking, pretty bad.
I heard like
Today they
6 to
came-
8.
Today they came out and they said that he's getting surgery. It looks like it's going to be good, and that he could be back, to play a couple games at the end of the year. So something to just keep in mind.
Okay, that's good. And it's one of those things where Zach Pascal, he's going to be a short fill-in anyway. I am starting him in Scott Fishbowl this week, in case anyone's wondering.
Bless.
Not feeling great about it, but I got a starting lineup in. That's all we could do, right?
Yeah.
Nate, let's go back to you, the guest for the evening. Let's talk about who else you have.
I guess in a 1 week, maybe two, Jeff Wilson is a possible. I mean, considering he's the only real healthy bottle, and I know JaMychal Hasty was promoted. I know, and I've watched enough of you guys to know that you like it, and justly so. I've actually invested in him as a direct result of your show, and that's one of the things that I've when he got brought back up, immediately I wanted him to have some action. But Jeff Wilson, right now, if you look at his snap share, it's improved. Obviously, it's going to improve when you're the only healthy body in the backfield. But like you mentioned earlier, Nate, they do have a very, very tasty matchup against a horrible team. I am the guest, and I'm just kidding, Michael. I love the Eagles.
Actually, the Eagles' run defense is pretty good, to be honest with you.
I even have the Eagles helmet here that you might be up for winning. We had a little bet early in the season.
That's right, we did.
An over-under for multiple different ones. And I believe the one was, not to get off track, but who was going to have more receptions at the end of the year, Tyler Boyd or A.J. Green. And I believe you took A.J. Green.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm not winning that one now.
I might be keeping my the hell is it again? Oh yeah, Vince Papale.
Oh, I have a Vince Papale jersey. I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeff Wilson, 18% own. Played 23 snaps last week. I expect that to improve this week.
Still, very startable. There was a league where I just didn't feel right starting him last week, and I would have won had I started him instead of LaMichael Pirine. But I was trying to put my money where my mouth is. So what are you gonna do? Hey, Mitch has a question real quick. Mitch, thanks for stopping by. He wants to know, on waiver wire ads, do you guys ever try and project 2 weeks out and pick up a player who's injured but projected to return, i.e. Alshon Jeffrey, to avoid a bidding war the following week? If you got room, I guess you can. But most redraft rosters are a little, the benches are a little thin. What do you guys think? You ever try to do this?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it right now. So I have Deebo Samuel on my bench, and he's on IR, right? So he's basically just sitting there, and this is like super short. There's not even a freaking flex in this league, so it's been rough, and I don't like it. It hurts me to have him on my bench not doing anything. I mean, I'm waiting for the return, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of stashing guys that, especially Alshon. I mean, he could be good, or he could just go back on the IR and not do very much. So that kind of would scare me a little bit.
Yeah, he has been practicing. I heard. That's the only update I've heard is that he's practicing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not playing, so I don't know. Frank is saying Tanyan as a deep tight end from the Green Bay Packers. Fantastic. Actually, funny you say that. There is a league out there. I am forced to start Jay Sternberger this week.
Hey, he got a couple catches this past weekend.
He did. He's got a couple hundred more to go. Porkman, go back to you. Got anybody else for us? I got a whole list here, so if you guys don't have any, I got you.
In a super flex league, if you have 3 quarterbacks that's hurt and you're really struggling, Brett Rippon is available for Thursday night against the Jets.
And he is starting. Fantastic work. Thank you. I forgot to mention him.
Do you really want to play him? Probably hell no. But he's starting. It's a warm body. They're playing the bum Jets. Mm-hmm. So I mean, hey, there's weapons there.
This is true.
He could get you maybe a touchdown. Hopefully he can do a little bit of something. Just don't put in Blake Bortles. Just start up some grip and ripping.
That'd be the most 2020 thing we would see.
Blake.
Blake Bortles just walks into the game and just throws a touchdown.
Yeah, he's so cheeks. He's
Yeah.
bad.
It's
Now, are
funny,
you-
Porkman. Oh, go ahead, Nate.
No, I was gonna say, are you guys not to call anybody young, call me old, but do you remember Mark Rippon? Did you ever
Yeah, I do.
get a chance to watch
For the
Mark
Redskins.
I remember him. Yeah.
Exactly. Him, Ernest Biner, Art Monk. That was if you go back to, I think it was, I don't remember which video game. Not Madden, but like Tecmo Bowl or whatever.
Oh,
Mark
Tecmo
Rippon.
Bowl was the
Mark
best.
Rippon was the shit. He was great on there. Now this is his nephew, so I'm sure the lineage isn't quite as strong. But
Nate,
I
I'm
heard,
told it's his son, according to Fantasy and Frames. So
I heard someone say nephew this morning. I heard son and nephew. I went with the second.
I think
I
it's
also
his
know.
son.
I see. Yeah, that's what I think. I trusted the son one first, but regardless, I also know. I heard this story that his sister is a quarterback in the lingerie league, or was.
she is, and she is
There
quite
you go.
worthy of that lingerie.
Oh,
too.
you looked this up. Good Lord, you did
We-
come prepared.
I have to check. I
Ooh,
mean, I gotta know this stuff. By the way, Pork, you're talking about a warm body just filling a spot here. Normally we're saying that like week 10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
and it's like
This
we're in
year's
week.
been brutal. Like, say for instance, you had Garoppolo and Locke.
I have those two guys in a ton of leagues.
Like, you need somebody. Like in the Superflex league, there's literally nobody out there, so you literally could be starting Rippon and Darnold. Like, what can you do?
God.
Right. So I mean, if you can get points for throwing the ghost, start Darnold all day. With Rippon, like, I don't know what to do with him. So you might be. Some people are forced to have to start him. That's going to be some type of fab glory. I
Gosh.
don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, how much fab are you dumping down on Ripon?
If you need him, I don't even know. If you maybe 20%, 10% if you really need him, but you don't even know.
You got him. You got him for me, man.
At that point, you're probably better off starting position player in the Superflex part and just praying.
There's I'm in this like super flex league. I'm starting 3 quarterbacks. They are this week Gardner Minshew, Sam Darnold, and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, Fitzpatrick's okay.
Yeah, that'd be good. Against Seattle, all right?
I mean, if you look at my bench, all I see is out. It's like my IR is filled. Can't put
Man,
any guys on taxi. It's terrible.
I bet you can go get Carson Wentz for pretty cheap, man. Try
No.
it.
We're starting 3 quarterbacks.
You can
so.
get Trubisky pretty cheap too, huh?
Hey, I would go pick him up. There's a chance he plays again. And I'm sure Jalen Hurts might be on the waiver wire too. You never know.
He's not,
going to play.
because I went team by team, and there's like it's all guys like with NA designations on the waiver wire. That's
Okay.
it.
What about Matt Barkley? He was a top pick in Scott Fish this year. You should check that guy out.
I did. He is available, but I'm not gonna bite on him. Also, Chev, your boy Jalen Hurts did have a fumble this past game too. So running an RPO. Go figure.
It sounds like it was the quarterback's fault.
It definitely was his fault too, for sure. He just didn't. He just dropped it. So all right. Actually, Chev, we are on you now. Who do you have next for us?
Yeah, so this could be a deep waiver wire stash. I'm gonna go with Gabriel Davis from Buffalo. I mean, the way Josh Allen is playing right now, he's playing absolutely out of his mind. He's connecting on deep passes, he's connecting on all over the field. It helps when you have Stephon Diggs, who is just an excellent route runner and can snatch everything. So I'm keeping my eye on Gabriel Davis. It's a deep stash. It's somebody that could pay off in the long run, and is a young little rookie that could benefit you down the road.
Do you have his ownership percentages, Chev? If not, I do have them.
I have no idea.
All right. So on the season, he has a 100% catch rate. This past week, he was on 4 targets, 4 catches, 81 yards, and he is owned in 0.2% of ESPN leagues and 0% of Yahoo leagues.
Yeah, I know his snap rate too was, I think it was like 75 or something this week, so it got bumped up a little bit. So we'll
Exactly.
With John Brown getting hurt, that helped out a lot
And-
too.
see. Yeah.
That Bills offense is just really clicking right now, too. So,
Mhm.
all right. Howard, Nate, how about yourself? Who you got
All
for
right.
us?
So this is going to sound kind of weird, probably, but Brian Hill. Okay,
You guys are stealing all my guys here. Seriously.
Brian
Yep.
Hill looked good. He looked like the best running back on the team this weekend because Gurley is just trash. I mean, I guess some of us expected it, some of us hoped for the best, but Gurley does not look good. The team is 0-3. I mean, they're just looking for a spark. If Brian Hill's that spark, then he's not going to replace Gurley. But if he starts getting receptions, if he starts getting used more, he could become someone you actually want to have on your team. And this is kind of one of those guys I think you want to get ahead. So if your benches aren't too shallow, this is a guy you can put at the end of your bench, and it might work out for you because he might be a waiver ad next week, but you already have him on your team.
Right.
Atlanta needs a spark in the fourth quarter. I don't know what that's going to be for them, but they need to figure it out because it's just blowing everything. I can't imagine being a Falcons fan right now. I would be distraught.
Sick.
Yeah.
Do you have his ownership percentages, Nate? Because if not, I do have them.
I think ESPN's 1.7%.
And Yahoo is 3%.
So he's out there.
Yeah. And last week, 9 carries, 58 yards, a touchdown, 1 reception, 22 yards on 3 targets. I mean, yeah.
Is anybody catching passes out of that backfield? Like, I don't see any stats. Like, Todd Gurley's getting like 1 catch maybe.
Ito Smith hasn't done anything either, which a lot of people speculated that he would.
I don't know. That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Mitch has another question. Tight end Hakeem Butler worth a stash in dynasty leagues? Yeah.
Why not?
Even if you never play him, but somebody wants him and it helps you get something that you want, absolutely. I pick up guys I don't really want all the time just because if it helps me move pieces around.
Now, I wonder, on Sleeper, do you think they'll make him dual eligible, like receiver and tight end?
Probably. Yeah,
Probably.
he's actually already on there. I checked about an hour ago. He's already on there as a tight end.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
I don't know if he's eligible as a wide receiver actually though, but he's listed as a tight end. I didn't look to see if I could. I don't have him on any team, so I couldn't check.
All right. I'm going to be up next, so I want to talk about this guy right here. Gus Edwards, I think, is a fantastic waiver wire pickup right now. I don't have last night only 4 carries for 39 yards. Okay. But let's just look at his snap share. Week 1, he had 15, which was 25%. Week 2, he had 31% of the snaps. And then last night, he had 24% of the snaps. He's owned in 1.3% of ESPN leagues and 3% of Yahoo leagues. So he's not getting garbage time snaps either. He's getting meaningful snaps in the middle of the game when the Ravens were down. He was in the game. Mark Ingram wasn't in the game. J.K. Dobbins wasn't in the game. So, plus I looked it up before the show. He's 6'1", 238 pounds. I did not know he was that big. Yeah. So, I actually hope that Gus Edwards goes somewhere else next year because J.K. Dobbins is obviously the future of the Baltimore Ravens. And Mark Ingram, man, it looks like he's not even the present. You know what I mean? Like, they're just needed 7 points from Mark Ingram last night.
Nate, how do you feel about Dobbins? What are you thinking about his usage at the moment? Do you think? I'm guessing you'll think it's going to get ramped up later in the year.
I mean, I think the Ravens are happy with Mark Ingram as their lead back. He's been productive. He was productive in the Texans game. Last night, Dobbins had more snaps, but that's because they were playing from behind, and Dobbins is more of a pass catcher in that offense. Even though they really don't throw to the running back very often. But he's out there on long downs, on passing downs, on the 2-minute drill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of that this year. I think last night's game was kind of a outlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if we're going to see a lot of Dobbins this year. I think we'll have games where he busts because, I mean, he's got the Gus Edwards and the Mark Ingram competition. And we'll see games where he gets a couple goal line carries and gets 2 touchdowns again like he did against the Browns.
Yeah.
I like him a lot for Dynasty. I just don't think he's going to be – I don't think you're going to be able to know when to expect those points. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And even if it's garbage time, like if you say, hey, they're playing the Washington football team, like it's not necessarily going to be Dobbins who's going to be out there in the fourth quarter. It's probably going to be Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you know what isn't garbage time? When you're getting busy with your lady or guy friend, whatever you have. And that's why support for the Dynasty Rewind is brought to you by Manscaped.com, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. When was the last time you could see behind the bushes? I don't know if you're outside, maybe. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. Their third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. Chev, you got that paper by chance? I love when you hold that up. Manscaped obsesses over technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. They're also only the best ingredients in their formulations. There it is. They save balls. When you trim the bushes, the tree stands taller. That is true. When I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so Sean can come and shave you as long as you need. One of the coolest features is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise shave. They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. Sounds perverted, but it's not. And let's not forget about the charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. That's fantastic. If you're listening to me speak right now, you're one of the first people to hear about this life-changing product, and I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. So trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off and free shipping using the code at the bottom of the screen, pork20 at manscaped.com. Level up your hygiene routine with only the best manscaping tools. Your balls and we will thank you. Our intern's going to come down and take care of himself. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code pork20 at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Nate is actually online right now buying 10 of them because he wants to support the Dynasty Rewind so much, and we appreciate that. So let's get back to it. Do we have any more waiver wire ads? Someone is saying hi to me. It just says Facebook user. I don't know who it is, but hello, Facebook user. Thank you for stopping by. Frank Tomka says happy nuts. Heck yeah. And hey, Oklahoma Doug. Doug does our IDP waiver wire show every week, so check that out. It'll come through on our RSS feed. So if you subscribe to us, you'll get that automatically. It is a must listen. Wide receiver to start in Buffalo: Beasley or Brown? Goose eggs suck. I'm gonna go Cole Beasley then. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. John Brown's calf is he even in question of missing the game? I mean, if he misses the game, obviously that makes the answer a little bit easier. I hope at least it does.
Cole Beasley gets some pretty good target share regardless, though.
Oh, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You guys all agree?
I would probably go Beasley for right now. I usually would go Brown because that's my guy, but with the injury situation, Beasley for sure. He gets a lot of PPR points.
Yeah,
I like that.
Do you guys have anyone else by chance?
I got the obvious one. Nick Foles is probably available in redraft leagues, so if you can get him, he's a starter. Obviously, if Devontae Adams is out, Alan Lazard, if he's available in some leagues, you can go and kind of get him. Freaking Aaron Rodgers loves that guy.
I don't have Alan Lazard's ownership, but Nick Foles is owned in 0.9% of ESPN leagues and 3% of Yahoo leagues. So he is definitely out there.
That changes tomorrow.
Does anyone have anything else? I just have one more update, and then I have everything that I want to get through.
I do have one more because I am looking it up now to see what the ownership was. In all fairness, I'd never even included them just because I thought by now Mo Alley Cox would have had enough ownership to be above 10%. And I realize, I know Jack Doyle's coming back. I don't know if that's going to stop the possible presence to Mo Alley Cox. I mean, we just already talked about the number of increases. I mean, he's enormous. He should be able to maintain the target share, especially if everybody else on the team's hurt. And I know they're a run-first offense, and I know that. But at the same time, we know Phillip Rivers loves the tight end. He loves his running backs. He loves his tight ends. Poor T.Y. is going to, kind of dwindle away a little bit into obscurity. Not obscurity, but you know what I'm saying, unfortunately.
And Mo Alley Cox, good one. Anybody else got anything for us?
What's up with Van Jefferson? What was his injury, Pork?
I think he hurt his hand because when that interception, when he got the tackle, I saw him shake his hand a little bit. So I don't think he was in the game. I gotta look that up.
Okay, that brings me to my next question. Are you fine with wide receivers tackling players in practice when they throw interceptions still?
Yes, I am. It's called football. Man up. If you get hurt, get better.
All right, don't listen to Pork the rest of the season.
So I just want to, I know this was a hot waiver wire topic last week. I don't know. I can't remember how much we touched on it. Sean's going to go back and watch the show and he's going to tell me tomorrow. I want to give you guys a New York Giants running back update. Last week, Devonta Freeman, 5 carries, 10 yards. Wayne Gallman, 4 carries, 7 yards, 2 receptions, 7 yards. Dion Lewis, 1 carry, 0 yards, 1 reception, 10 yards.
Jesus.
This has been your New York Giants running back update.
Saquon's coming back next week. He's going to get put in a wheelchair. He's going to do his thing. Kenny Yamaguchi from old Backyard Baseball, Backyard Football, if you don't know him.
No,
I mean, this is
Sanchez.
Are we starting any of these guys with any confidence right now?
Hell no.
I mean, we're going to start Brian Hill over like Devonta Freeman, Wayne Gallman, and Dion Lewis,
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I am.
Okay. Yeah, it's sad.
There's not a lot of people to start for the Giants right now. I mean, they have looked pitiful.
I'm still starting Slayton because I just feel like he could just get a touchdown anytime. You know? Yeah, they do look bad. Oh, one last guy. Did we talk about T. Higgins at all? Did we mention him?
A nibble of tea.
All right, so T. Higgins, he's only owned in 7% of ESPN leagues, 5% of Yahoo leagues. In week 3, 5 catches, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 9 targets. So the Bengals, for having a rookie quarterback, throw the ball a lot.
You know, and with the Bengals, the one thing that maybe even gives Higgins a little more helium is John Ross was a healthy scratch. So
Yeah,
it looks
he
like
was.
they want him to be able to get into that lineup. I mean, it's not like he was facing injury or anything. He just they look like they want him to be involved. I mean,
They put Auden Tate and other Mike Thomas in over John Ross.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we got a bet to pay up, don't we?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So, Nate, would you like to regale us with what that bet was?
Yeah, so the bet was on Deontay Harris, and I believe we said over under 6, and I believe he had 2 catches for like 6 yards.
So we tied. We went with yards, right? Not points.
Nah, B.
wow.
All right,
Well,
pay up, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the content that you are here for, courtesy of the Dynasty Rewind.
Catch me poolside, Port.
But
Gotcha.
this is us putting our money where our mouth is. So, our Nate, do you have any bets for the Thursday game, the Jets and Broncos?
Yeah.
Well, you always like doing a scrub bet, so this shouldn't be too hard to find one.
Actually, it was really hard to find somebody. Because, I mean, I was looking at like, okay, well, let's like bet like on a Jets wide receiver, but they're all injured. So there's not even one to bet on.
No, hey, don't forget
Berrios.
my boy Braxton Berrios, right?
Yeah, but he's not a
He's been
scrub.
eating.
No scrubs.
No scrub.
Right.
You love that dude,
So,
Berrios.
Oh yeah, I do.
so I'm thinking we're gonna go over under on Porkman's boy here,
Oh,
Mr.
gripping,
Mr.
ripping.
Mr. Boise State himself. All right, so Brett Rippin. I've been scouring the internet to find a good projection for his stats.
It's bad.
I've seen it anywhere from 4 fantasy points to 18.
What?
wow, that's a pretty wide
Ridiculous.
range.
So I'm gonna go with 12.
Over. Give them to me.
Sam Darnold, by the way, I think he was single digits against the Colts. So
Hey Nate, we need to find a prop bet on Sportsbook to say how many ghosts will Sam Darnold throw to on Thursday.
All right.
'Cause he always finds them.
I always seem to take Porkman's side on the bet. I'll take over on 12. But are there contingencies? Like he plays the full game?
nope.
All right. You know, give me the over because I think Driscoll had over 12 in 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, but
or
Driscoll
whatever.
runs the ball a lot more than Rippin.
Well, he was still in there.
Hmm.
I'm going to take
Right.
Pork. I'm with you. Give me the over.
Chev?
I am going to take the over as well. I just think that Jets team is just they're going ghost on Thursday night, I think.
I will say that 12 points is 200 yards passing and 1 touchdown with 0 interceptions.
All right, I'll take the under. I'll go with the under.
All right. And Mr. Christian, what about you?
I'm going to go under because I think it's going to be bad on both sides. I actually like the Jets in this game. So,
What?
Yeah.
I do too.
We'll see.
Nate, do you want in on this bet too? I could always just record you doing a shot and putting it up on the screen in case you lose.
You know what? I will, because I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna base it on his 73rd percentile burst score, his best comparable to Brad Kaya, the great quarterback from I don't know where the hell he's from.
Oh, Brad Kaya.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Oh my
75th
Somewhere.
percentile throw velocity.
Ooh.
Wow.
And a 61st percentile agility score.
Wow.
Hey, he played for Boise.
Yes.
He did, and he broke 30. He broke 3,500 yards passing on 2 of his 4 seasons. So I'm going to take the over at. You said it was 12, right? Yes. 12. Okay. All right.
All right.
By the way, he had
Perfect.
negative points last game.
Awesome.
He's going to make up for it this week, Chev.
He'll be good.
All right. Mitch has
We
a
got
good
full week
question
of
here.
practice. Or
This
half
is
a week
actually a
of
really good
practice.
question. Mitch wants to know, will the winner of Thursday night's game lose the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes?
Mm.
LOL question mark.
No.
I don't know.
Too early to say, you know.
It is a little too early.
And
Yeah.
Miami
Brad
Hurricanes got you. Thank you, everybody, for filling me in on that.
Yeah.
I should have probably known that. It's kind of a big school, considering.
You think if the Jets lose out, they go after Trevor? Right. Got Darnold, but
That's
The thing
I
is,
like Darnold.
Gase won't be there. They're probably going to be starting from like brand new. If the coaching staff wants a quarterback, we've seen it over and over again in the last couple drafts. Like when they get a new coach, they're going to want to get their guy.
It's true.
And it's a possibility that is the case. Even though I don't think Sam Darnold's horrible, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but it just could be the case for him.
Do you guys see what Jerry Jones said about Dak?
Yeah.
no.
Like,
What he said.
he said something that last play, he's like, oops, I forget who he said. He said Russell Wilson and Tony Romo would have made that clutch play. I'm like,
Well,
What?
he avoided a
Bro.
sack and ran out of the pocket trying to save his team's life.
yeah.
I don't buy that. Jerry Jones, get off the yacht, homie.
Is
Put
that
it up
Jerry
there.
Jones's
It was
way
a
of saying we're
50-50
not paying
ball.
this guy next year or what?
That's,
Like,
that's his way of saying not paying them, and I don't understand what their
don't like
philosophy
it.
is. Because if the way Dak is putting up dumb stats, I give him props for it. And I'm the person that don't really like Dak that much prior to this year, but they gotta get the ball to Zeke to win some games. Like you gotta
do.
control the clock. You can't. You're not going to win like that. You clearly showed that from last year and this year. They gotta stop. I mean, keep going because I hate the Cowboys, but
Right.
but I just found it to be an odd comment coming from the owner after week 3. You know, the guy's out there gutting it out.
And the guy you lose to, he brings up saying Russell Wilson would do it.
Yeah. Like I'm
Well-
pretty, don't 100% quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it was Russell Wilson and Tony Romo. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, didn't Tony Romo botch that extra point or field goal kick against Seattle at one point in time? Like,
And he
That's-
tripped and fell, didn't he?
so I think what happened, I have the picture on my toolbox at work. It was him fumbling the snap, and then it's got the Geico caveman guy like that. It's like so easy a caveman can do it. He got the long snap, and then he just couldn't set it right for the kicker. I mean,
Right.
and that's why they always say, like, once the guy who was the backup becomes a starter, have somebody else hold the kicks. Don't make him worry about that crap anymore.
Right. And it
a
was
lot.
Mahomes. It was Mahomes and Romo would have made that play.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
Still,
yeah, Mahomes would have. Romo maybe would have, maybe
maybe.
not have.
he
I
was
don't
good.
know.
He would've
Romo
made
was
it.
good. Yeah. Romo played through a lot of injuries too, man. Like that guy, he tried to get out. He had that back fracture the one time though. Like, and see, here's what gets me about Jerry Jones' comment. When Dak was drafted, he was drafted to not be the starter. Tony Romo was still there. You were expecting a couple more years out of him. I remember later on in the season after Romo got hurt, Dak took over in training camp, blah, blah, blah. I remember Jerry Jones saying, we knew right there we drafted the rookie of the year. Like, you are so full of shit right now. You drafted the guy in the 4th round. You are such a liar. Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, I will tell you, I've never been a fan of Jerry. Well, I've not been a fan of Jerry Jones since he had a huge hand in the Rams leaving St. Louis. And it's not that I was the biggest Rams fan versus the Chiefs, but I like having something local to go watch, even if it's not watching the Rams, it's watching other teams. I got to go watch some of the opposing teams come in, more importantly than the garbage dome. But yeah, Jones, I mean, if you guys could have been part of the lies and the backstabbing that went on the entire time, I mean, they had us put the blueprints to build this new stadium, and they had it done. They had it completed. And then still to find out that Jones and the rest of the group knew that it wouldn't matter what they did. We could have raised the money ourselves. The 5 of us could have raised a couple $100 billion, and we could have built a stadium, and they still would have moved to LA.
I'll write a check right now.
I assumed you would. Manscaped is doing well for you guys.
Don't ever cash the check I'm about to write, but I'll write it.
We got to sell some more sweatshirts, I think, boys.
Yeah, please, somebody buy a freaking sweatshirt. Hey, Mitch has a hot take. So, Sean, put this on the board. Mitch, you're going to have to pay up if this isn't true. So, hot take. In 2 weeks, PJ Walker is the hot waiver wire ad in Superflex leagues. Okay, I do not disagree with this. I actually own PJ Walker in a lot of spots. For those of you who don't know, he is not the backup to Teddy Bridgewater right now. He's the 3rd string guy to Teddy Bridgewater. Will Greer is still ahead of him. He was under Matt Rule at Temple for all 4 of his collegiate seasons. He was also with the Colts for a few years, off and on their practice squad, and he was the best player in the XFL last year. So if PJ Walker comes in and Christian McCaffrey comes back, that Carolina Panthers team could be downright dangerous.
Talking about PJ Walker, it makes me miss XFL or NFL.
It does.
The good old days.
Such a fun game to play.
Listen, The Rock bought the XFL, so I am. Yes.
Heard that.
Bring it back.
Well, maybe we can get NFL Europe back when we play NFL or NFL Europe.
Oh, God. I love that.
But you remember when they changed it to NFL Europa? It wasn't as fun. It wasn't as fun.
You know that there's some teams that like so Germany, they apparently loved NFL Europe, and Germany has the biggest American football league, professional league outside of America.
Really?
Because of NFL Europe, and they had their team that was in Germany they kept, and then they added some teams around it, and now there's a small but very popular league there.
Well, ask them if they need anyone to do a podcast about it, and if they do paid sponsorships, we'll gladly do it. And then we'll do the podcast. Sean will translate everything into German, and we'll be good to go.
There we go, baby.
9.
Lots of beer.
So, and hey, Will Harris from True North Fantasy Football checking in. And Cody said, remember the old Maddens when they had the Madden Europe teams? Madden sucks anymore. Cody, we don't remember the old Maddens. We remember Tecmo and NFL Quarterback Club. That's the stuff that we remember on this show.
Nate, you remember any of that?
Well, Nate Christian might not remember that stuff, but
buddy.
I'm pretty sure that was an old man joke for me to get. So you young whippersnappers don't get it.
NFL Game Day '94.
Ooh.
I had that too.
I literally was not born.
That's when I was born.
I was 9. But anyway, hey, listen, does anyone have anything else to add before we head out?
I got one more thing. Waiver wire pickup. Rodrigo Blankenship is getting disrespected. Why is he not getting added everywhere? He's the kicker 3. Chef, tell him. You got to tell. First of all, I'm about to start wearing goggles to the pod every week. Every time he goes home.
I'm gonna wear them every week, regardless. That is my boy. I talked about Rodrigo going to the Bears and winning the Super Bowl on a game-winning field goal, and it didn't happen. But he's on a team now, and I cannot wait to watch him keep succeeding. I've talked about this guy so long. Told you to pick him up so long ago. If you're not picking him up now, it might be too late. Also, if this is your first year in fantasy football, I am absolutely sorry for you, because the way you drafted is usually not how seasons go. Usually you don't lose 3 starters in 1 week.
Right.
So if you are defeated right now and you're not feeling fantasy football, please give it one more chance next year. Give it one more try. It's going to get better, I promise.
Yeah. Good point, Chev. It really will.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quit on us yet. Listen to the Dynasty Rewind. Watch the Waiver Show every Tuesday. Listen to Oklahoma Doug if you play IDP, which you should. So it's the way to go. Get rid of team defenses in Dynasty, please. Nate,
I got
what's
one
up?
more.
Go
One
ahead.
more. I just remembered this. Do you guys know who led the New England Patriots in carries on Sunday?
JJ Taylor.
JJ Taylor.
Wow.
This guy had him in his top 10 running backs for the draft.
Yes, you did. And please go follow Nate on Twitter at Nate NFL. I gotta say, kudos to you. You had him on our radar before anyone else I heard it from.
And he did that on 15 snaps. So basically every time he was in the game, he pretty much touched the ball. So
He also had at least one target I know of. So yeah, lots of opportunities every time he was on the field. He is good at catching the ball, but he's also good at running the ball. And that backfield is a mess right now, but it won't be a mess in a year or two.
Yeah.
Right.
Great dynasty stash.
Perfect. Love it. So, all right, everybody. Thank you again for stopping by. Thank you for everyone in the comments. Always love having everybody here. So, hey, Nate Markham, thank you again for stopping by. Sorry you couldn't make it on when Jorge was on with us. That was a show that we did for redraft stuff.
Right.
I know you wanted to be on, but duty calls, had to work.
I just wanted to have it to myself. I don't want to share this with Jorge anymore. He's taking on my thunder. I want my own screen.
I can't remember. I couldn't remember if Jorge wore a tie or not. I was a little disappointed. So.
He probably did. He's so professional.
I love it.
I know.
It's like
I do.
Jorge's great. It's like the one time I was like 3 minutes late. He's like, "Hey, you coming on?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'll be right there." So he's awesome. I love Jorge. But hey, listen, Nate, thank you again. Tell everybody where we could find you and where you are doing everything that you're up to.
So you can find me on Twitter at Nate Markham. I am on the Fantasy and Frames podcast network with Jorge, which I think I should call it a network, considering we have podcasts and live streams about 13 times a week right now, I believe. If it might be going on right now. I'm not quite sure. Wednesday nights, we do a show, a live start sit. Sunday mornings, you can follow us. I'd love to invite every single one of you guys on to come on with us Sunday morning. That way, other people can ask you questions where you might be wrong and then feel terrible and then go on to their show, things like that. And then also, if you go to the Fantasy Data Podcast Network, you can find our podcast, The Fantasy Playbook, where we break down all however many games are that particular week from both offense and defensive side of the ball. So IDP followers, you can tune into that and listen to that aspect. Guys, thank you very much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure, and I hope to be able to do this again sometime.
You are always welcome back. You know that. The Fantasy and Frames guys are friends of ours here. We hope that it's reciprocated. So we'll get you and Jorge back on here again sometime. Hopefully some of the other guys as well. But until then, Chev, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Chev Boyardee, boy with an I. Also, you guys need to check out the Jet Sweep show. I watched week 1. I missed week 2. Got to catch up. But, man, Smokey and Will did an excellent job. Their injury updates were great. Old Smokey has Elmo on there talking about injuries. So check that out. Smokey's he's a beast, man. He's funny.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that's those are some guys from the True North Fantasy Football family. So they are fantastic. Check out everyone over at True North.
Mm-hmm.
Will Harris, he does Viridian Global. They're making some awesome shirts. If you check out my Insta, which is private, so you can't, you can see I did get a Mapletron shirt. Well worth it. But Nate, where can we find you on Twitter?
Yep, you can find me at Nate NFL, and you can find my weekly stock report coming out on Dynasty Nerds on Thursday.
Okay, great. And I promise that his takes are not as generic as his Twitter handle. Sorry, Nate, I love to say that. And Porkman, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at FF Porkman, and I got to come at Will Harris because he tried to come at my boy Dawson Knox. They do to a tight end. Tyler Croft went bananas this weekend, so those are supposed to be his targets. So back at you, Will.
but they were not. And if you
should've
are
been.
so inclined, you can find me on Twitter at the MBauer85. I prefer you follow the show at Dynasty Rewind. Buy a hoodie, $35, shipped to the continental United States. If it's outside of that, I'll work with you. If you've ever bought any merch from us, you know that I will. We also have stickers. We have T-shirts. And you know what? I'll tell you what. Here's my waiver wire show sheet. If you buy a hoodie, I'll throw that in. How's that sound? I'll even sign it with a lovely message on there. It won't even have cursing on it. So until Friday, everybody, thank you for checking out our live stream. But until then, remember, be kind. Please rewind. Thank you for watching, everybody.